Hello, everyone. Good morning. Glad you're all here this morning. If you don't know me, my name is John Clayton. I'm a recovering drug addict and alcoholic, and I've been clean and sober since February 21st, 2021. We're carrying on in the basic text. Still, personal stories, but I think these ones are done a little bit differently. They're seem to be broken down in micro stories, so I don't know if one connects to the other or if they're just still individual stories. But we'll find out together. Regardless of, the disease of addiction does not discriminate, and neither does Narcotics Anonymous. Our literature explains that NA is open to anyone, regardless of age, race, sexual identity, creed, religion, or lack of religion. No matter where we come from, how we were brought up, or what we do for a living, NA's doors are open to us. These members write about finding love and acceptance in the program and within themselves, even when they least expected it. So, the next story is on reflections. And we'll just get right into it. These members share briefly about finding recovery in NA, regardless of age, race, sexual identity, creed, religion, or lack of religion. Reflections. When I came to my first NA meeting at the age of 52, I heard a woman say, "If there is anybody here for their first time, please come to the front of the room and get a white key tag." All 60 people turned around and looked at me. I went to the front of the room, not knowing I was about to have the first physical contact with another human being in over 4 years. The wonderful woman who gave me the tag held me in her arms as if she were holding one of her own children and whispered in my ear, "You never have to use again." She gave me something I hadn't had for many years: hope. Now I'm a senior citizen at 65 years old and 13 years clean, and a grandfather of 2 kids who teach me the spiritual principles of unconditional love. To be held, to be able to do something for someone other than myself has been the most rewarding experience of my life. I am an Eskimo, born and raised in the dark, frozen north. When I wore my hand sewn parka my mom made, my kids would tease me. I hated my parka, my mom, my ethnically, and myself. Drugs took the edge off and helped me forget. Eventually, I felt, I felt, oh sorry, eventually I left with a scholarship and my tribe offered. My disease progressed and I spent most of my money on drugs. A friend I considered to be worse off than me said he was going to an NA meeting. I asked if he wanted me to go for support, and I went. Little did I know I would relate to all the readings and things others shared. I felt so good when I left that first meeting. So much has happened since then. For a long time, I could not share in front of others. With my sponsor's help and by working on myself, I've been able to share over a dozen times. That is amazing. Working the steps and going to meetings have helped me get better with myself, my culture, and my ethnicity. Today, I am proud of who I am. Amen to that. The first time I shared in a meeting about being gay was very hard. I had 5 years clean and regularly attended the same meeting. I never spoke about being gay. I referred to my boyfriends as she or her or whatever. I talked about my relationships. I was asked to share my story at a large meeting, and I knew that my newfound honesty demanded I share the truth about me. The night I was scheduled to speak, my sponsor unexpectedly brought his wife, who is not a member, to the open meeting. She had invited me to her home many times for dinner and is a devout Christian woman. I didn't want her to know that I was gay. I was afraid she would reject me. I prayed to keep my commitment to share openly that night. Despite my fear, I told my story honestly, and for the first time, when I finished, she looked directly at me and gave me a big, beautiful smile that said everything was fine. People came up to hug me, and no one teased or ridiculed me for being gay. From that time on, I knew I could recover as a gay man in Narcotics Anonymous. As a Native American, I was taught that I was born with a spirit and I was blessed with seven guardian spirits. In my active addiction, they scattered and could not help me until I was willing to help myself. What I came to believe is that addiction is a living, breathing disease that that will take that one loves the most. Wait, sorry, let's try that again. When I came to believe is that addiction is living, breathing disease that will take what one loves the most. Hmm. Weird. For some reason that doesn't seem to make sense to me. I don't know if it's the wording or the way the sentence goes, but let's carry on. It will tear one's life apart until all is gone. I recall telling my husband in despair that my spirit had left me. I was eventually banished from my land and my tribe. I was facing over 2 years in prison. I was tired and I wanted to change with all my heart. My deceased sister came to me in a spirit and said, "You can stay clean now." I believed her. With NA, I have been able to humble my life. I have made amends to all the people and my ancestors in public. In an open vote, the tribe chose in my favor, and I now have my people's back. My spirit has survived thanks to my recovery. I was raised in a sincere, devotional, religious family. The church was the center of my social life, and I attended religious schools. However, I didn't fit in well. Even when I wanted to, I got pregnant out of wedlock, and this devastated my family. I saw my dad cry for the first time. I chose to go forward with the pregnancy, partly due to my religion and also because I cared for the father. I gave birth to a beautiful boy and relinquished him to another family. The painful truth is that I succumbed to pressure from family, church, and society. After college, I discovered drugs, and my run didn't end until I was mentally and spiritually destroyed. I landed in treatment and found a woman who would be my sponsor for the next 19 years. At around 8 years clean, I felt a lack of spiritual growth. I came into contact with a spiritual leader of a tradition from India. I began to study that path and experience the sensation of being in love with God. I was afraid that the NA fellowship would reject me because of my dedication to this path, but my community was surprisingly supportive. More recently, I have been developing in a spiritual tradition not from India but from Mexico. I have a teacher who has been showing us a way that honors the spirit and the earth. I have assets that are beginning to reawaken, and I am rediscovering a long sleeping part of myself. Yeah, those are good stories. Several years ago, I found the son I had given up for adoption. It is very strange and wonderful. I am not the mother I might have been, and things being different. It is best described as intimate strangers, and it is an ongoing story. It took 2 months of being clean and actively involved with NA and the steps before the obsession to get high was lost, and it's never come back. As an atheist, I look to others addicts in the program as the power of example. I understood power to be the ability to effect change. I saw power in those around me who were clean and enjoying the world they lived in and seeking solutions to their everyday problems. And to me, seeing is believing. Everything I've learned in recovery has been from other addicts, those with similar problems who work to overcome them. I do the same thing as other members, except I don't believe in prayer. I believe that if prayer worked, there would be so unhappy people in the world. Yet NA does not. Sorry. Yet NA does work as long as I involve myself in the steps and traditions as a way of life. Yeah, well, those are some good little micro stories. I say micro because, God, I guess because they're kind of brief and to the point. But, you know, that whole concept of loss of desire, or if it wasn't for that desire, I don't know if I'd be able to stop or stay stopped. So I have a lot of gratitude today. I'm grateful for being clean and sober. I'm grateful that I'm still clean and sober. I'm grateful that I wake up every morning. You know, I've got some things that I'm not so grateful for too, but I'm working on that. And and most of it has to do with my health and how I'm trying to live, or how I'm trying not to live. It's a it's a struggle in itself. But thank you everybody for joining me this morning. I appreciate every one of you, and it'd be great if you would join my community and hit like or subscribe. It's free. It doesn't cost you a thing other than some time to some brief time just to hear me talk. So take care, everybody. Nobody's told you today that they love you. Well, I love you, and we will see you again tomorrow. Okay, bye for now.